Okay, so a couple things. You guys hear about what the Oscars Academy just announced 3 weeks ago and what it takes to be nominated for an Oscar moving forward? Have you guys heard about this or no?
No.
So Hollywood just came out and announced that moving forward, to be nominated for an Academy, you have to have your leading role on any movie. A percentage of it has to be from a underrepresented community. The actors have to be part of a underrepresented community. The workers behind camera have to be part of it. A third has to be part of an underrepresented community. The editors, the shredders, the camera guys, a third have to be part of underrepresented communities. You can Google this and show it, or else you cannot be nominated. Meaning, and then they broke down what it means to be part of the underrepresented community. If you want to know what those 6 things are to be part of the underrepresented community, here's how they define it: to be part of the underrepresented community. Okay, number 1 is women, people of color, LGBTQ plus, people with disabilities, people from low-income communities, people from rural areas, and people of indigenous heritage. What? If you are that, and you have a third of it in some of the categories.
One of the points that people make about why do you guys care so much about the LGBTQ plus and the marginalized communities? Why don't you just live your lives? They're only a minority of society. You're right. They're a minority, but yet they make so much noise. And now, as you see, they're making it quasi impossible for us to disregard them because they want to show us their presence. They want to make themselves known to a point that it actually makes it difficult for people to live their lives. Bro, how are you going to tell me? Because you got to be aware of that, right? If we apply this standard to most of the movies that have been determined as being timeless because we love these movies, 95% of these movies wouldn't even have made it because they don't qualify, right? I think I saw a little bit of a TikTok of a movie director or a script writer, and he was like, how do you guys expect us to make hits if we gotta not only come with a great story, great people to embody the characters, but now we gotta be wary of making sure that we have disabled, women of color, women, all these little boxes to tick just to please the so-called public.
Then you can be nominated for a Oscar. Let me explain to who does not qualify if this were to ever happen. And pretty much 99% of movies that ever won an Oscar would not be able to qualify today to do this. Here's a part that people don't realize that's going on in Hollywood. You guys know why all the creative actors escaped to go to Hollywood? Like, do you know where they escaped from to end up going to Hollywood? Jersey. Why Jersey? Hollywood used to be in Jersey. Why?
Really?
Because Thomas Edison was in Jersey. So if you go type in Thomas Edison, New Jersey, Hollywood, you'll see. The reason why they left Jersey and Thomas Edison, because it was so regulated that he said, you have to make movies based on my guidelines or else. Finally, these guys are like, screw this place. We're going to Hollywood. So to go to Hollywood, in 1920, all the major motion pictures movies that were made, 95% of all the major motion picture movies were made in Hollywood. You know what that number is today? 55 million. 4 years ago, do you know how many people watched the Oscars in America? 44 million. You know how many people watched the Oscars this year? 18.7 million. The 3 worst years of watching the Oscars in the last 20 years were the last 3 years. People are done. Today, I want to watch a movie with Sebastian Maniscalco and Robert De Niro. It's a new movie about a father, all this other stuff. Right off the bat, the movie starts with an LGBTQ community. If you watch the new, Fast and the Furious, the guy that's, what is the Aquaman? What's the guy?
Jason Momoa.
He's gay. He's gay. In the movie, Fast and the Furious is gay. So guess what? So now people ask and say,
come on, dog. If it's not in our faces. And you got to understand that if they don't care, they care to such a little degree about hiding the agenda. It means whatever they try to push it to them is worth more than what we think about it. Because they think, you know what, the consumer at the end, they're going to do with it. Because what else are they going to watch? Right? They're using franchises that we're used to watch for years and years. And they think, you know what, what else are they going to watch? They don't have any choice but to submit to whatever we're trying to feed them. To me, that's scary. To me, at least, that's scary.
I don't understand this stuff. Why are they doing this? Bud Light loses 25%. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light loses 25% of sales since they decided to team up with Dylan Mulvaney. Target, since they announced they have a trans section because of Pride Month, Their stock dropped 12%. They lost $9 billion. Target lost $9 billion in a span of roughly 2 weeks.
Damn.
Their stock dropped. Why? So people say, well, these CEOs are idiots. They're morons. You should do this. They have no clue what they're doing. You should fire this person. That's not how this thing works. So the whole thing, you have to look at how this thing comes about. So UN, United Nations, comes out with something called PRI. Then PRI starts raising money from NGOs. NGOs are non-governmental organizations. So such as Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all these other companies that are giving them money.
Right?
You got it, yes. So then these NGOs come out with this ESG score, and the ESG score, they have a couple different areas. One is called DEI, diversity, equity, inclusive, and then they have the CEI. I think it's called Corporate Equity Index or something like that. Then there's an organization called HRC, Human Rights Committee, that is funded by Open Society Foundation. Open Society Foundation has been given $32 billion of money by one guy named George Soros. You know George Soros?
Oh, yeah.
Open Society Foundation is George Soros' foundation. Since 1984, George Soros has given Open Society Foundation $32 billion of his own money. Not other people's money, his own money. So what does this have to do with anything? This thing, as you get deeper, it's even crazier. Do you know BlackRock? I don't know if you've heard of BlackRock,
Yes.
Larry Fink, you know Vanguard, and you know State Street.
Yep.
Do you know how much money BlackRock has under management? Do you know the number of how much assets under management BlackRock has? If you were to take a wild guess, how much assets under management BlackRock has, what would you say that number is?
I'll say this: they're buying up like all the single-family homes in the United States right now.
You're a
That's what
smart
they're
guy.
doing.
You're a sharp guy. What would you say that number is? How much you think they have assets under management?
AUM, assets under management.
What do you
Man.
think it is?
150 billion. That's 150.
Can I give a percentage of how much assets they have? Can I just give a percentage? I don't know the exact amount, but I can give.
What dollar amount you think would be a lot of money?
I'm a guess.
Like, I'll put it to you this way. Have you heard of Guggenheim that bought the Dodgers? They have $300 billion of assets under management. Oak Tree Capital Management that gave us, we worked with them before. They have $160 billion under management. Bain Capital, massive. They have $100 billion of assets
Those
under
Mitt
management.
Romney's people.
What do you think BlackRock has as assets under management?
I'm going to say
Okay, I'll say $1 trillion.
between 5 to 600 billion. Then.
You ready? $11 trillion.
Wow.
Did you hear what I just said?
Holy fuck.
11 trillion. By the way,
Wow.
I swear to you, 10 and a half, $11 trillion. Do you know what the U.S. GDP was last year? 32 trillion.
Yeah.
So America as a business did 32 trillion last year. BlackRock has $11 trillion. BlackRock,
One-third.
Vanguard, and State Street combined have roughly a 10% stake to 15% stake on 88% of S&P 500 companies. Let me say that one more time.
Wow.
BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street collectively have roughly 10 to 15% of equity in nearly 88% of S&P 500 companies.
That's fucking crazy.
And
Top 500 companies in the United States.
And it makes you wonder. These people that have so much money that together collectively they represent a big chunk of a whole country's gross domestic product on a yearly basis. They have so much money they can literally study human behavior and understand the intricacies of how we work. Don't you think they can actually do things willingly to learn and to kind of manipulate society? Because if we can train them to act a certain way, then we have a surefire way to keep getting richer and richer. So it might not have to do with people's sexual orientation as a bottom line, right? But if they can occupy things that go in your mind consistently, ultimately they can predict the bottom line. That's all it is. At least that's what I think. And that is that's frightening for one, very insidious, right? But they're doing it before you and they don't even give a damn.
500 companies in the United States. 24.9% of board seats are controlled by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Nearly 88% of these guys. So what does this mean? Guess what they do? They control everything.
Yeah.
They control everything. So they get to tell the companies, if you want to borrow money from me, for example, let's just say your name is Dodgers. You're like, man, if we want to really give this guy a contract for $400 million over 10 years, let's go raise the money. All right. Hey, can you give us some money here? No problem. BlackRock, here's $100 million. Bank of America, here's $100 million. Goldman Sachs, here's $200 million. Go offer this guy a $400 million contract. But your ESG score is low. What I need you to do is I need you at the Dodgers game to have a lesbian non-indulgence. I don't know if you guys saw the story or not. Have you guys seen this thing? What happened at Dodger Stadium?
I haven't seen the.
Okay, anyway, so this whole story comes out with there's an organization called Something of Indulgence where transgender men are out there and doing what they're doing because Dodgers has to increase their ESG score.
These are people that are probably reading books to kids and all this other stuff. Same
That's
organization.
exactly
probably?
what it is. So again, the point with these guys, the money guys are imposing high ESG score. I'll give you this final thoughts for you guys to be thinking about how deep this is getting. You know what the top five highest ESG scores in America is? Number 5 is Bank of America. Number 4 is Salesforce. Number 3 is Microsoft. Number 2 is Intel. And number 1 is Alphabet. You know what are some of the companies with the worst ESG scores in America? Tesla, one of the worst.
Yep.
Tesla's fixing the environment, helping the environment to have one of the worst.
Yep.
Twitter's one of them.
Yep.
You got Xerox is one of them. AT&T is one of them. I can give you Fox Corporate is one of them.
Sure.
These companies who have low ESG scores, they're not controlled by those guys, but those guys don't give them a good score, so they have a hard time raising more money from other people. It's a mess on what they're doing. Say that again.
Do you know what ESG stands for? I was going to.
Yeah, environmental social governance. Environmental social governance, I believe.
So
Yeah, this is economical castration. So if we control the money faucet, you're trying to get money, right? You're running out of it. IG water. I'm trying to get water to drink. That I control the faucet. I want to make you bend. And basically, it's no longer about serving the people or doing what's right. Is if you don't play ball with us, then you're going to starve, right? You're going to die of thirst, figuratively speaking. And so these guys have all the money. They control not only the banks, but funding for scaling of businesses. So Tesla, who we know has a good mission, is actually revolutionizing the way we see cars and traveling in transportation has a bad score, because if you are more on the conservative end, or at least you don't bend or break to the rules being set by the people that control everything, from the background, then you get a bad score. And that's what makes people think that down the line, in a few decades, we're going to have social scores as well, because it's just a little different from what's happening right now with the businesses, right? They first start with the businesses, make sure they have everybody under a leash, and then they're going to do the same thing with people. Right. And people don't actually realize that. We're very reactive, right? We're not proactive. We don't see things coming. We just adapt. And for this to be done so blatantly, once again, I'm in awe. To me, bro, this is fucking crazy. Like, dead ass.
So, like, basically, you're how woke you are.
How woke you are.
It's your woke score.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
So it's funny because
there's a social credit score that they do in China.
Yep.
This is your corporate
and environmental service.
Environmental social governance, I want to say.
Okay.
So it's funny. You don't take over or destroy infrastructure from outside. You do it from the inside. And control happens when people have to follow either a regiment or, for example, a system. And the ESG score is basically our literal credit score. So for companies, like you said before, to borrow money, you need to have the score A1. If you don't, you can't borrow money. Mm-hmm. So they're going to squeeze them saying, hey, you know what? Do these things. And if you don't do it, you can't borrow money. So they have to do it. So Bud Light had to, on some level, to stay relevant or stay in the...
abide by the rules. And that's a very good point from Fresh. It's the same way banks or other institutions that have money to loan to people make you bend or break and make you adapt to whatever rules they have. Their goal is actually to give the money away. They don't want to keep it, but they want to make sure that they're gonna make a return on investment from giving you the money. They say, look, man, I got money to give, but not to everybody, right? And I want to be sure that my investment is protected. So in order to know that you're trustworthy, I want to see that when you got that you reimburse it on time and that you make the necessary payments. So you have to abide by my rules to play the game. And now that I've seen that you have a history of paying things on time, i.e. making profit to the company, loaning you the money because they make the money off of the interest, now I'm willing to do the same. And they're using the same format to have people bend to their rules. Now it's not people, it's literal corporations, right, that they're making abide by the rules. And if they can make corporations, right, business empires bend, you think your boy, your father, your mother, your daughter, your brother ain't gonna bend. We're next.
I want to say marketplace itself, do these things to actually be a competitor and borrow money as well.
So you think they probably sold their soul, borrowed money, and that's why they had to do that stupid ass ad? This is why Gillette did the controversial toxic masculinity ad. Because I've always been wondering, like, why are they taking crazy risks and ostracizing their consumer base.
Say you don't do it, but you know what happens if you don't do it? They control the board seats. If you don't do it, guess what the board is doing to you? They're firing you.
Right.
How many people you think want a job paying you $25 million a year salary? How many people you think would like to be the CEO of Anheuser-Busch? How many people you think would want to be a CEO of Target? How many people you think want that job? 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Guys that went to Harvard, Yale, Princeton.
Of course.
There's 1,000 guys that want that job. How many people you think are willing to do all of those things for $25 million a year salary? Plenty of people.
Everyone.
You know, it's funny.
Plenty of people.
With BlackRock, I was going to say 10 trillion because they're literally buying every single thing, even close to buildings as well, and single family.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to control pretty much all of our
They're a
huge
big
portion
reason why we have a housing shortage, so to speak.
on purpose.
Yeah.
But once again, what is it? All control. If I
Yeah.
control all you do behind the scenes, I already control the company. Even though you're the face of it, I control the behind the scenes.
So now somebody says something like, "Well, how do you fight these guys, man? How the hell do you fight these guys?"
Okay, that's my question, bro.
Exactly.
Because I, in my possible simple mindset, can't imagine how you can fight that.
Do you know why we're even able to have this conversation right now together?
Free speech.
Do you know why we're able to have this conversation right now? Okay, a Jewish man, a Middle Eastern man, a black man, and
Arab guy.
okay.
Muslim
But
Arab guy.
watch four of us.
Could be better.
How different we are, and we're sitting at a table right now, and 9835 is right now watching live. Do you know why we're able to do this right now?
Because we're niggas.
No, because of probably, I will say, 1,000 anti-establishment people in the last 270 years in America. That's why. And those 1,000 anti-establishment guys fought for you and I, and they've never met you. You'll never meet them. You don't even know what they went through. You don't know how they targeted their families, all this other stuff. You and I are able to have this conversation because the world still has few anti-establishment guys that can be bought and can be bullied. Power to those guys that are not afraid to fight.
Yeah.
Power. By the way, do you know what is the ultimate riskiest job in the world? You know what's the riskiest job in the world? Position. What is the riskiest position in the world?
Very good question.
It's not a
right? Going against the grain in a literal sense, right? If you are not only a business owner, but anytime you go against the grain, i.e., going against these guys' agenda, you could be a business owner, Elon Musk, trying to change the world, but yet you're going against the agenda of the BlackRocks, right? You would be doing the most dangerous jobs because these guys can literally put a hit up on you. They could put an end to every source of income and or funding that you have. That's what it is, right? Being a revolutionary, rather, the Malcolm X's of the world, Martin Luther King's, right? All the guys that come for change and fight for change are in the line of fire because there are some people that want to keep things as they are. So this, to me, would be the most dangerous job in the world.
President.
Politician?
Anybody that's loud, vocal, fighting against the establishment.
Oh, yeah.
It's the riskiest job in the world.
Of course, they'll cancel you.
Period.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. Andrew Tate, Ryan Dawson.
Yeah.
You know, like if you talk about anything that challenges the establishment and you have a big enough platform, or you talk about certain taboo subjects, they're going to cancel you. So, yeah.
Okay, so question though, how do we fight it?
So you get to pick and choose, like, for example, beer companies. If a person's sitting there saying, I don't like what Bud Light is doing, no problem. Guess what? Start a beer company. Whoever starts to support them, help them out. Let them get bigger.
Even Miller Lite made a woke commercial recently with the females.
Sure. And let them do it.
Yeah.
But then if other people start a direct competitor to them, support them, whatever it may be. Go buy their product, go support their product, go do what they're doing. Like, for example, I told Chris today, I said, I don't know if Chris from Rumble, I said, I'm one of your biggest cheerleaders. You don't even know it. I said, you have no idea how important it is what you're doing. Rumble is very, very important to the marketplace. Very. Because there is an alternative place to go. Spotify is very important to the marketplace. There's an alternative place to go. Twitter is a very important place to the marketplace. Exactly. There's a place to go. These are things that they have a place to go, right? For them to go. And we need to support those companies. We need to help out those companies.
I agree.
And we need to build up those companies. It's the solution to something like this is unequivocal. It's 100% of individuals willing to compete, to say, I believe I can do it better. Okay. The fear, you know how a lot of people are like, well, Patrick, it's easy for you to move your family and go out to Florida. You can move your family and go to Florida. I said, dude, I've moved since Jennifer and I have been married 13 times.
Damn.
Each time we've moved, Jennifer's been pregnant that we moved to a new state. When we moved to Texas, she was pregnant. When we moved to Florida, she was pregnant. Okay. We've had 4 kids born in 3 different states. We've moved our office 12 times. We moved our house 13 times. Okay. We moved. People say, how could you really move and go to a different place? Listen, California, for the first time since 1851, lost people in the state of California. It's never happened in the history of California. People left. You know why? They're sick of it. They're going to a different place. So why can't
And yeah, that's a very good point, man. And that's why he's such a capitalist at heart, because it gives the people a choice, right? That's the opposite of a monopoly, because the people in charge can literally lose their position if there's a competition that rises that offers a different perspective, different choice. Because when you have a monopoly, they literally dictate anything and everything, and you don't have a choice but to abide. But when there's somebody else offering an alternative, it allows the people, the consumer, to make a stance only and just by the mere fact that they're choosing to go to the other side. That's why the Rumble platform is also important, because YouTube has been infected. California, everybody knows it's a very woke, liberal, left-leaning place that really doesn't give a damn about what people that have conservative views. And even you don't even got to be conservative, really. You can stand in the middle and not want people to plaster freaking LGBTQ plasters in your face all day long, and you'll be considered a bigot. And people are tired of that. But as you can see, they don't even care. They don't care. They don't give a damn.
they go to a different place because of competition? Where are people leaving California to? Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada. There is other options. People that are leaving New York, where are they going to? Tennessee, Florida. There's options. People that are leaving Chicago, where are they going to? There is options. As long as we can compete, the customer wins. The moment you and I cannot compete, we lose. So we have to support the competitors as much as possible who have the audacity. For example, who is Daily Wire competing against? Whether you like Daily Wire or not, who does Daily Wire compete against?
I guess now Rumble?
Let's say, you think so? Okay, let's just say it's Rumble. But to me, I put Daily Wire out there. I put Rumble out there. I put Twitter out there. I put any of these guys out there. Anybody that's competing with the traditional media space, if they got a $20 a month product, $40 a month product, guess what? Go support them. Buy them. Because if you don't, then you're also supporting the other side.
Right. Okay.
You know how many people pay Netflix every month? You know what the number is? You know how many active users they have today? Do you know the number?
Probably a lot.
212 million people.
Damn.
Netflix, 212. Disney's got over 150 million.
And they have an agenda.
And they have an agenda.
Yeah.
And you know how many Daily Wire has? 2 million. So support these guys. Support the guys that are willing to do the fight. I don't have a stock in Daily Wire. I don't have a stock in Rumble. Some people would even say, why are you supporting your direct competitors? Because these guys have the audacity to fight against the guys that want to control everybody.
Yes.
Anybody that has the audacity to support. Look why I'm here tonight, okay? I got 4 kids. My kids were playing baseball. I'm outside playing baseball with the kids. This guy's saying, Pat, let's go do this. You guys push the envelope. I respect people that push the envelope. It's not an easy job to go out there and do it. I'm driving down here from Fort Lauderdale to come out here. Tomorrow, I think you're going to be with us. We're going to touch current events, all that stuff. Make sure for us to email you the stuff so you have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
All this stuff we're doing, why are we doing it? Because you're challenging the status quo. You're pushing the envelope. And we need more people who have the audacity and willing to put their energy into it. And whoever's doing that, support their cause.
Damn.
We need to support
the little guy. I guess is the message of the video, and it's really, really important. I say that myself. I don't even have Rumble on my phone. I'm gonna add it soon and start posting my stuff out there. But yes, man, it's you got to support the little guy, right? You got to make the rags the riches, right? You got to make the David against Goliath story happen. And it's, to me, this is the dawn of either things going from bad to worse, or the glimmer of hope turning to a light that's actually gonna that's gonna light up the night sky, right? I'm trying to be poetic. But for real, that's the way to do it, right? And I think this enlightens. If you've made it through the end, you're first of all, you're a G, because you got a good attention span. But you got to make sure to apply what you've learned today, right? Don't let it be just another video you've watched and then you're gonna forget it, right? Keep it in the corner of your mind. And once again, you may not agree with everything Fresh and Fit say, but to me, I've always liked the fact that there are people that have once again the courage to speak their minds and to go against the grain, to go against what's prescribed, and it oftentimes seems to be at least in the right direction, right? You may not have to like everything they say, but don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Keep the bones and keep the meat and throw out the bones. And so, yeah, man, just feed yourself good information. Be aware of what's happening out there. And if you fuck with the content, you know what to do. See you next time. Peace.